Hi, welcome to ADI Technical Training. I'm Matthew. In this video, we're looking at the Dahua ASC3202, the standalone two-door controller. It has a built-in web server and it can be added to a client. We're going to look at it as a web server, a standalone controller for a small installation really. Along with the controller, we're using the Dahua Reader, the ASR2200, which is an IP65 MyFair reader. Sorry, IP66 MyFair reader. So we're going to be using a couple of tokens actually. We're going to be using the Dahua tokens, and we will be using some generic MyFair tokens just to prove, its compatibility. So with the device connected to the internet, it's PoE. So we just plugged it into a switch. It's on the network. There's a couple of ways of finding it, but the correct way is to use the Dahua scanner. So to do that, we need to go to the Dahua UK website, and we're going to go to support, to the download center, and then on the download center, go to tools, and then we can scroll down to config tools. And there we are, there's a config tool. Now we can install that, and then we're ready to go. I've already installed it, but it's a simple Windows program. You just click download now and install it on your machine. So here's an example of the of it being installed. It is, as I say, mine's already installed and running. So here it is, it's up and running now. And from here you can initialize it if you want to. You can change its IP address, do configuration on it, but really all we're going to use it for is just to find out its IP address. It is DHCP, so it would have acquired its own address from the network, and it has done here. You can see it's 192.168.1.108 on port 3777. Let's go to that IP address and have a look in and get it initialized. Here we are. This is start page. We need to initialize it. So first of all, language, choose your local language. Software agreement, make sure you have a read through and you agree to the terms and conditions. Username as default at the moment is admin. Create a password. Choose a password you're going to remember. You commonly use passwords. Don't need to worry about the email just at the moment. Click next. The date format, do it to your local calendar. The time zone, GMT. Synchronize with your PC for your local time. Click next. Check for updates, confirm. And the device is ready to go. You can wait if you want to, or just log in. Username will be admin. I use my password and username. It's the same one I use for every device, so it's actually saved on this machine for other Dahua machine devices. But the admin is as you created a login, you might remember the username was admin and the password was the one you created. So let's log in. Is it the main or the sub-control? You can hang other controllers off the master controller. So this is going to be our master controller. So let's click on as a main controller. It asks you, is it a single door controller or a double door? We're just going to use it for single door for the time being. Next. On door 1, what type of reader is it? It's going to be a card reader. I've connected it as Wiegand. You can do it as RS485 to save on cores, but I've done it Wiegand, no particular reason. Exit is an exit button is enabled. Using the door contacts, I'm going to say no, just because I haven't got one. Is there an exit reader? No, I'm not using one. The output, what's the output going to be? Is it fail safe or fail secure? Or you're just going to use a relay instead? Maybe you're tripping a gate control, or an automatic door, or you need something with extra power, like you're using a maglock, which requires 600 milliamps to 1200 milliamps, and using a separate power supply because PoE Plus just won't do that. So you're going to use a relay on board to switch the second power supply. With all that done, let's click next. Are we using any if logic for access control? We'll just leave it as none. Just leave it as is. Alarm inputs. We're not using that. Duress alarm. That's something you're going to set up later if you're going to use that. Click next. Now, what it does is, you might have seen this on other access control brands with web servers. It gives you a wiring diagram, a bespoke wiring diagram to what you're doing, and this is the layout of the board. So you can see here we have our reader connections, exit button, rex and ground, the exit button inputs, and the lock outputs. So you can save that, if I can scroll down, there it is. You can save that to your machine, and or you can just take note of it. Obviously, if you're doing a document handover, save it and print it off later. So with all that done, let's click apply. Config, yeah, it's going to restart. So that'll go offline for a couple of seconds. 20 seconds later, let's do a refresh. Brings it back online. Let's log back in. And there we are. That's the machine online. That's the device online. Reader's connected as per the wiring diagram. And you can have a quick look. There's no alarms at the moment. One device is online. Users are none. No cards. No fingerprints. Let's have a look through the menus. Person management. So you can add people to the system if you want to, which you're going to need to. The access control monitor, checking on any devices. At this point, you can also check, is the relay working? And it gives you an event here. So if we open it, you can see it says it's open. And if you're nearby, you'll hear the relay click. Access control, this is time zones, access levels, and so on. .com reporting gives you the events that have happened. So if we go here, was it there? We can say the events. Let's do it since yesterday. Okay, that's the finish date, and do search. I was going to say there shouldn't be much there because nothing's happened yet. So that's the machine online. The reader's physically connected. Okay, so let's do a little bit of pre-programming. We're going to go to access control, permission settings, add a permission zone. We'll give it its name. Let's call it a door for this instance. The time templates, the full time, so it's 24/7. If at a later stage you want to create a new time zone, you can do that. Any remarks, if someone else is going to be maintaining it, nothing to do there. Which devices does this apply to? So it's all these devices here. Let's add them. Click OK. Operation successful, and that's the door now added. Next, we would need to add some people to the system. So let's go back to reporting. As I say earlier, there's 3 ways of adding them in. People in numbers, a desktop reader, or use the reader on board as an enrollment to capture the card number. So we've run the report, the time zones for today's date. You just click on there and select the time. So I'm doing it live. We'll go to unlock records, have a search. You can see here I've presented 2 cards a couple of times just so to get them into the system. I have this is a generic card, a generic MyFair card, and it has to be MyFair Classic for this reader. And this one here, this is a Dahua card. So let's just take that one there and copy that. And we've now got that card number. So now if we go to person management and we add a new user, we'll call it user 1. The name would be card, or which, the person's name. Default company, it's a general user. We're not doing anything spectacular at the moment, but we're just going to say it's a general user, so they're allowed in all the time. From when to when, any templates, no. Authentication, we're going to use a card. and it's going to ask for the card number. We've just copied it, so we can paste this in now and add. And finally, permissions. When are they allowed in? They're allowed in through that door there, so we can add them to that door. Ticket and add. And if we add that person, that's the person enrolled into the system now. So the next thing would be to go and test it and see how that works. So let's go back to reports. Okay, so now if I present the card to the reader, we should see whether it works or not. So back to reporting, unlock record and do a search. And we can see here that this card that was previously failed is now succeeded, so it was granted access. And that's the very short way of getting this controller online and get it working, so you can use it for basic access control. Installers rely on ADI. The ADI projects and technical teams offer a pre-configuration service. Any project size from a single device or to a complex system. Any IP device can be configured from our central hub using our technical and projects teams. Having your device pre-configured will save engineers time on site. We can set your IP address, the gateways, and in addition we'll make sure your device has the latest firmware on board. Simply get in touch with your ADI sales contact or email the projects team. Thanks very much for watching. All the products mentioned in this training video can be found on our website. Links are below. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks very much.